Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir SilentGods video. In today's video, I want to show you something really fun, and that is a team for the Grave of Curse that is kind of doing some fun stuff. Is doing some miracles, I guess I could call, for my account, and I did not believe it to be this easy as it was. And I want to mention from the beginning, what I'm going to show you in this video specifically is mostly a showcase of my team, because it's early on season 2. We're doing this. It has some changes, like the boss has some different mechanics going on right now. Like, he removes the shields. I think that's the only thing that he does. He removes the shields on this one, and he also ignores immortality and invincibility, so people cannot cheese it anymore. But the thing that I noticed, and the thing that I like about this team, is because it uses a different mechanic, okay, or a different tactic. So what I mean by that is basically the way that I have my team built is I'm in such a way that I'm basically ignoring the boss's shield, okay? Like, I do not have a shield remover for the team, and that's the thing that you want to keep in mind. And again, I'm going to explain during the video what I'm using, why I'm using it, and how it can work so well, okay? So let's jump in there. Again, the team that I'm showing specifically and at the moment right now is more of a showcase, because I don't have, you know, I just have legendaries, legendary artifacts, you know, lots of stuff like that. So it's not as relatable, but the core mechanic and the tactic itself can be replicated with, honestly, I think you would not need any legendaries, as long as you can hit the right stuff. So let's run this team, and let me see. Oh yeah, actually, I think I got some more runes. You know what? I'm not even gonna put those runes on. Just gonna leave it as it is. Let's run like that, and let's go through it and see how it works. But the whole idea of this team is you basically want, first of all, somebody that removes the buffs, or somebody that puts buff prohibition, okay? In my case, I have Voresh for that. It's a bit of RNG here if he doesn't remove the initial buffs, and then that's, you know, that can be a problem. But if we do remove the buffs, we see we're fine for the first time. Then when we come close to this one again, Voresh, I have a timing. Voresh lands that buff prohibition, which means the boss does not get these two buffs up. So from now, we're just fine. He's not going to be doing that much damage, which means his shields are not going to be big enough either. But also, the thing that is really important over here, you see the way that I have my other timing. So the next thing that you really want is you want to have an attack penalty before the boss does the shield. The reason for that is, obviously, this one deals necrotic damage. We can do a lot of damage, and he converts 240% of the damage, which is a lot, to a shield of equal value up for 20 seconds, which means he's gonna have a massive shield in there. Okay, we do take a hit over here. It's gonna make it be a little bit a little bit different. It's gonna be a bit longer, and this is because of the way that my timings work this time around. But this one can be influenced by having the right skills and the right maybe skill sets in there. So the next thing that hopefully should happen, you see, we land the attack penalty, and normally I would have Garius do the shield just before the boss does that. As you can see, unfortunately, because of the way that timings fell off, is not working as intended. And the reason why it's working like that is because Rose did not land that recharge speed penalty at the right time, which means that the boss goes a little bit faster, and it means we're not going to be able to land everything right. I think this one should get it back in tune. Yep, there we go. Shields again, and watch this. Did you see that shield from the boss? It's basically no shield. So that's the next thing. That's the third thing that's really important in this team, is to have somebody that brings you shields, okay? In my case, I have Garius in the Gatekeeper staff. What that does is basically he converts all the excess healing into a shield, okay? That's what you see. So again, he did not do the shields. We're still fine. We're surviving. But basically, every time he does his shields, which are massive, he has insane shields. Every time he does those shields, the excess of the healing is transformed into a excess of the healing is transformed into a shield. And as you can see, they are massive shields. Let's see. Okay, this one actually fell, I guess, the RNG, unfortunately, of it. But the whole idea is that what you want to do, again, you don't want to have this specific heroes, but what you want to do is, I guess, have Voresh in there if you can have him. He's the one that makes it easier, because he can remove these two buffs and then he blocks them every time he comes back around. So I guess you could replace him with somebody like a I know, a Jirana or somebody like a Grover that keeps removing or stealing the buffs, but it does make it easier if you have Voresh. If not, like I said, Grover. Then the next one that I'm using here, I'm using Rose for the attack penalty, but I'm also using her because she brings the recharge speed penalty on the battle skill, which means the boss is gonna be on a longer rotation. So instead of being on a 18-second rotation, what he ends up being is something like a 20-second rotation, which means it allows us to come back to our skills in time. Unfortunately, she did not land that battle skill, and that's what can make it go out of tune. But that's a little bit of an RNG, and that's a quirky way of how things work, because you can see that she starts doing the battle skill, but because she has the ultimate ready, she does the ultimate, and basically that cancels out her battle skill, and that means she's not gonna cast it afterwards, which makes us lose out on that important debuff that we need. But that's not mandatory if you're more advanced, like let's say you're doing this in season 1, or you're doing this in season 2, but you're a little bit later. As long as you can get your people on an 18 seconds, okay, complete recharge time on the skills that you want them to be, you should be just fine, okay? So as an example, let's say the attack penalty hero can be anybody else. Again, it does not have to be Rose. It can be anybody else for the attack penalty, and you're just fine as long as they are on an 18-second complete recharge. And then you would always do the attack penalty just before the boss does this one. Then when it comes to the shield person, which again, I'm using Garius in the Gatekeeper staff for that role over here, you can use somebody like an Adolphus, okay? If you have an Adolphus that brings some massive shields, just bring Adolphus in here. Again, make him get to that 18 seconds recharge time, which usually, if they are on a 20 seconds complete recharge, you need to get them down to, you need to give them around 55 skill haste, and that way they're gonna be on an 18 seconds recharge time. Or also, oh my god, it's like, again, I don't know what happens, but most of the time, like, I'm trying to show this and then it just keeps failing. So let me just do this again. I think the problem was that I lowered her accuracy, because you saw she even has 220 accuracy plus the boost of 40. I'm just having some bad RNG, but basically she just keeps getting resisted on this one, and I don't know why that's happening. Let me just try to let me see, 16.5. Let me do this at 60 seconds. Maybe she's not gonna cancel that battle skill anymore. But again, the person that you want instead of Garius, if you have Garius with the Gatekeeper staff, obviously keep him in there. He's gonna do huge heals. He's gonna be doing some massive shields in there. But again, if you don't have him, bring Adolphus. Maybe even somebody like a Gladros could work. Let's see. Okay, we removed the attack up, so that's fine. The RNG of this one, if you know everything else goes right and we didn't have all the bad RNG as you noticed I had, the only RNG of this one with using Voresh as I'm using is if I do not remove the attack up from the boss in the initial stage, then that becomes a problem, because with the attack up, even with the attack penalty, the boss does so much damage that he just kills us. And then the last two in this spot, I just have my two Ice Blast people, okay? The last two ones can be any two DPS. Like, whoever are your best DPS champions, that's what you can use. Your best DPS heroes, bring them in there, because they're going to be able to survive due to the attack penalty that will land again from Rose or whoever else you're going to bring, and due to the shield. But look at this again. And if everything falls in right, watch this. Barely any shield, and then we just blast through it. And it makes it fun for me because, like I said, I can basically just use my Ice Blast heroes that I'm also using for the Temporal Vortex, and it works just well. So I just want to ask you guys, leave it in the comments below. What do you think about this team? Do you like it? Do you think it works? Do you think it's a fun team? Especially because, again, it basically ignores the mechanic of the boss's shield, because he's not gonna have any shield. You're removing his damage, which means there's barely gonna be any shield. And the reason why this one works like this is because this damage calculates only the damage done to your actual heroes, okay, to their actual health bars. And because we have the shields, that damage that he does on the shields does not count, and that's why you see the boss not having, like, barely any, look at that, barely any shield, nothing at all. and we're just able to blast this one. And this one's actually going to be the way that it was supposed to work initially. I think I just had that one wrong. I think I just had Rose be a little bit faster, and that way it failed. And then again, now you see she lands this, then she's going to do the battle skill, but she didn't get a chance because we killed it. So this is the team. I'm really excited, really happy about this because it works so well. You can see it's a 2-minute run, and considering the fact that I don't have all legendary gear with right sets, I just have, you know, random defense percent. You can see a rare piece here, then some random epic here. So I don't have the best gear in the game yet. We're still at the point where we're farming, we're progressing, but this is really nice. Like this one helps because of, like I said, overheal that convert into a shield. But again, you do not need to have this specifically. You can use this. You can have somebody, like I said, I don't have unfortunately Adolphus, or there's another one that could do that. Somebody like a Gladros, okay? You can put Gladros in there. He can have some massive shields because it scales off of attack and HP, his max HP. So you can give him to make the massive shields, and then you drop, let's say, Garrus as the... You drop Garrus as the healer in there because you should not need that much. Like, he should cover it enough. You could put Voresh in front. He should be the one that, for example, that soaks up the damage from the boss. Just give him enough accuracy to land his debuffs. Ignore his like actual damage, just make him survive, and you can, you know, copy the same team and use you know, or just not copy it, but replace with what I explained during the video. Another way to lower your, for example, your ultimate skill, you can see this one's 19.1 with 26. Another way to lower this one is by using the spiritual incense burner, okay? Let me just go and show you which one I mean. So basically, if you don't have, again, if you don't have legendary artifacts, you would use this one. What is it? Where are you? Incense burner. Okay, this one. So this one, it increases the wearer's ultimate energy by 9 up to 10% whenever they're casting the ultimate, which means after they cast this one, from what I've tested in the past, even with 0 skill haste, having this at least a level 20, maybe works even at 19, I've not exactly tested it, but having this one on basically puts your ultimate at around the 18-second mark where you want to cast that skill. So as an example, let me show you the preset that I have in the team. Let me just put the team back in there because it went out. So the preset that I have for this team specifically is Rose starts at 16 seconds, and then she does it every 21 seconds instead of 18, which we see the boss have his complete rotation. And the reason for that one is because, like I said, she brings the recharge speed penalty, and that makes the boss be on a so much longer cooldown that the 21-second mark seems to be the right spot. Then when it comes to Voresh, I make him use the initial ultimate to block the buffs at 25, and then again every 21 seconds. And then Garrus, I do his ultimate for the first time at 17.5. I could even lower it at 17. But basically the way that I wanted to have it is I wanted my Garrus to go after Rose because Rose does heal Garrus a little bit. So if he lost some HP, he would get healed by Rose first, and then he would do the healing, and then the extra, you know, the excess healing would be turned into a shield. And again, 21 seconds for the complete rotation. But if you're not using the recharge speed penalty, then you should have these ones all be 18, 18, 18. So basically, like I said, you need to have the 3 core components, the attack penalty, which I'm using Rose, to be at 55 or recharge speed, or again, if you can use the incense burner, then you don't care about the recharge speed. Same thing for Voresh, and then same thing for Garrus, which again, Garrus can be Adolphus, can be Gladros, Voresh could be Grover, but if you have, I'd prefer to suggest you guys just use Voresh. And then the 2 DPS, they can do whatever. They can do whatever, and that's gonna be it, and the team should work just fine, and you should be having a fun time just speed farming the Grave of Curse. Especially if you're in Season 2, the Grave of Curse is more important, and it's a better dungeon to farm compared to the Grave of Rot because of the new, I think it's called the Serial set, something like that. That one gives you a better boost because it gives you HP, accuracy, but that's not the important ones. The important ones are the fact that when you have a 3-piece set, every time the wearer lands a debuff, he will he will boost everybody's attack. So if you have that on somebody like a Rose that does debuffs on the battle skill and on the ultimate, you're basically gonna have that 15% attack up on all the time, kind of the same way that, for example, the previous season, in Season 1, we had the Brotherhood Spirit that kind of does the same thing, but that one only happens when you do the ultimate. So this one's better because every time a debuff successfully lands. So if you have somebody that does lots of debuffs, it's gonna be just perfect. But anyway, this is gonna be it for the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I really like this team, and the reason why I really wanted to make a video on this one is because it uses a different mechanic of dealing with the Grave of Curse that basically forgoes his shields. Like, you ignore the whole shield removing mechanic that you normally need in this team, and it just basically control the value of that shield, which you can see there's barely any shield just by having attack penalty before he does ultimate, and again a massive shield before he does it, and then you should be just fine. But anyway, thank you all for watching. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.